Good morning. How you feeling? How you feeling? How you feeling? And everybody says, "Oh, good morning." Breakfast with Bob.
Yo,
and Luke and Beth.
yo! Pacho Man! I'm a round of applause for our man, Pacho Man. We again are Breakfast with Bob, presented by EA Sports Nutrition, Cliff Bar, Timex, Roca, Tanya Porter Resort, Rudy Project, and we're airing on Slow Twitch. Are the first couple of triathlon right here. Luke McKenzie, Beth Gerdes, pick that puppy up. So, Luke, you got that 7th Ironman championship this year. What'd that feel like going back to Cairns?
Oh, Bob, obviously every time that you win an Ironman title, it's something special. And yeah, to win 7 now, when I started out, I would never have thought that I'd had 7 Ironman titles to my name. So to win at home in Australia, it's very special. It's an event that is dear to my heart, to race at home in Australia, in my home state, in front of my family and friends. And Beth was there as well. So it was a great week.
And I know the last thing Beth wanted to do was to flat or have any type of problems, but the cool thing was you winning your 7th title and Beth being there with Win at the finish line. How was that, Beth?
Oh, it was incredible. You know, I was supposed to race Ironman Cairns along with Luke, and I was hoping to get my Kona qualification there, but I had a couple of unfortunate mechanicals that left me on the side of the road for way too long.
Yeah.
So at the end, I had to call it a day, the first time I ever didn't finish an Ironman. But I got to watch the entire run unfold, so I got to watch Luke start off, I think, 12 minutes in the lead on the run, and just watch him throughout that run, and then be there with our daughter at the finish. So it was awesome. It was totally meant to be.
You didn't want to have the mechanical, but you were supposed to be at the finish for him to be there.
Absolutely, and it was incredible. It was such a good moment.
So speak a little bit about your journey this year. Having to do 4 iron distance events, or Ironman events, to get here.
Yeah.
How hard was that? I mean, that's brutal.
Oh, man, it's been quite a journey. I mean, I gave birth to my daughter Win just 16 months ago.
Yes.
So since she's been born, I've done 4 full Ironmans. The first one was this time last year, just before, when she was 3 months and 28 days old. I did Ironman Malaysia, and that was the hardest one of my life.
Yeah.
But I came 5th, and I realized that, I think I had a good thing going, and if I just built off of what I had been doing, that I thought I could progress enough to make it to the start line here.
Now, I know nobody wants to do 4 Ironmans 1 year.
No.
But when you look at Ironman Switzerland and you look at a, 17-minute deficit or something like that off the bike,
Yep.
and you end up winning by 5 minutes, and you run down Mary Beth Ellis, who's a heck of a triathlete, at the end of the day, that's pretty cool to get. And that was your first Ironman win, right?
Yeah, that was my first Ironman win. And, Mary Beth Ellis is one of those competitors that everybody sees on the start line, and you think, oh, well, at least I can get second place.
Yeah.
So for me to come off the bike, I was 17 minutes down. I didn't think it was quite enough. I thought it was maybe a little bit too much of a lead that she had for me to make up, but I ran quick and steady and
3:01?
I ran my race. Yeah.
3:01 marathon off the bike at the end of all that.
Yeah, so that was a great day, and that did give me a lot of confidence that I am ready for the Kona start line.
So Luke, as the husband
to be,
but as a person who's intimately involved and watching what she went through this year, talk a little bit about that, because obviously the whole 50 women and 50 men and 35 women is an issue, and someone like Beth was caught right in the middle of it.
She was, and I guess Beth has been a bit of a poster child for the 50 women to Kona over the last year, obviously coming back from the birth of our daughter. I guess it's been highlighted just how hard it was for her to get back into professional racing, and the depths that she had to go to in order to qualify for this World Championships was, it's quite strenuous. We travelled to a lot of big races around the world.
Right.
4 start lines, as you said, 5 actually with the DNF in Cairns. So, it's been a really long, hard road for Beth to get here to this point. But I'm so proud of the way that she's really, persevered and stuck it out, and it's just so fitting that she was able to qualify this year. I'm just so proud of her.
And to qualify by winning.
Absolutely.
And coming from 17 minutes down after you've got 3 Ironmans in your legs already.
Like you said, I mean, maybe it was meant to be when I won Cairns and I was able to be there to watch her win Switzerland. I wouldn't have traded that for the world. It was a super impressive race that she had there, and the way that she just went about attacking that run was phenomenal, and it was just a real pleasure to watch. So for her to cap off her qualification here for Kona with a victory in an Ironman,
Yes.
I think it was just part of her journey.
So talk a little bit about being parents, both being professional triathletes. I mean, there's got to be points where, she's mentally and emotionally going, I don't know if I'm ever going to get there. And you're trying to pump her up. At the same time, you're trying to get ready for, this is a very, very important event that you've taken second at. You want to win this race.
Yeah.
Talk a little about just the balance.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, but we love it. She's 16 months old now, so obviously she's in that age where she's just on the tear. Like every day, it's just from when she wakes up to when she goes to bed. It's non-stop.
Right.
And so obviously we're going out training 6, 7, 8 hours a day some days, and you're coming home to this little person that is just absolutely
Let's go. Let's get
ecstatic
started.
to see you. And it's tough, but I think we deal with it well. We're very structured with how we go about our day, and I think having the help of family and here in Hawaii especially has been key.
So talk a little bit, Beth, about as a mom, right? Being a mom and trying to be a professional triathlete. I think that's a tough balance.
Yeah, it's wonderful to see more and more women doing it.
Yeah.
There's, I can think of 3 of us in the top 35 women in the world here in Kona right now. Me, Gina Crawford, and Liz Lyles,
Yes.
who are all moms, and actually Tina Deckers.
Right.
There could be a couple more. So I think you're seeing it more and more that not only are women able to balance it, that's our career, so we do it the same way that a woman would just go back to work. It does take a lot of effort, and
Yes.
there's those sleepless nights where you wake up in the morning and how am I supposed to get on my bike for 4
Right.
hours? But you just go out and do it, and it's so much more rewarding to know that every time you're out there, you're doing it for a reason and a purpose. And being a mom's awesome. I love it.
So what have you learned? Because Luke had been a professional triathlete for a long time before you became a professional triathlete. Talk a little about what you've learned from him that has, because you're obviously racing better than ever.
Yeah. No, I've learned so much from Luke, and I owe much of my success to Luke. He's taught me what it is to be a true professional triathlete. So prior to Luke, I'd say I was like a recreational professional triathlete.
Right.
I was working full time, and then I trained on the side and had really fun, a lot of fun traveling around. But Luke's taught me what it is to really put 110% into it every day, to really focus on your weaknesses. So Luke's one of the best swimmers and cyclists in the sport. And prior to meeting Luke, I was one of the worst. So to see my vast improvement just through the daily dedication of following him and following his lead. And, that physical part of training is huge, but he's also there for me mentally all the time. During our best and worst training sessions, we're there witnessing, the best and the worst of each other, and he's always there.
So Luke, as Beth mentioned, you were always front pack swim, front pack ride. And then it was a matter of holding on the run. And you finished 9th, and then you finished 2nd here. And so much of this race, you can't have a weakness. The field's so deep. The last couple of years, you struggled with the swim, and swim was your thing. And I was just talking to Pete Jacobs the other day, and he's like, what happens? He goes, I think what happens with Luke is you're behind a little bit, you start to panic a little bit, your stroke gets shorter a little bit, and the next thing you know, you're not swimming well.
Yep, exactly. I've actually talked to Pete about that back home in Noosa, Australia, about once you start to develop those. Those negative sort of thoughts about something that usually comes so easily to you. It just seems to keep diving, You sort of start to, how can I fix this, and what can I do? And I think that's something that, I've just gone back to the basics. We've been part of a really elite swim squad back in Australia over these last few weeks, and just been around proper swimmers, those really elite, like
not so much triathlon swimmers,
guys
but
that can
swim
actually
swimmers.
swim. It's just something really beautiful to watch. And just to be part of that environment as well. And it makes you realize, you don't really have a weakness there. It was just that you were overthinking it. You were just, and, I'm really happy with the way that we've prepared for this race. Our swimming's come along really well. Beth's improved out of sight.
Yes.
So I'm just really excited. Like you were saying with Beth's improvement, it's, you got to remember 2 years ago, she had a full-time job as a school psychologist. So it was a matter of waking up super early, getting her training done, then going to work all day,
Right.
and then trying to train in the afternoon, and
compete
now,
against the best people in the world.
And now she's exactly. And so, trying to race professionally that way, it was tough for her. And now she's realised that she's going to do this full time as a profession, and she's dedicating all of her efforts towards that. So I think with that dedication of training every day and the discipline that's come with it, that's why she's had so much improvement.
What did you learn about yourself when you went from 9th to 2nd? I mean, that's when you're in 2nd and you're basically going back and forth with the guy who ends up winning the race. What did you learn about yourself?
I think when I was in the lead of the Ironman 2 years ago here, and I think what comes with that is the belief. I think, I've always felt like I belong at the front of this race.
Yeah.
I've mixed it up for several years in various, leading the bike or leading the run at some point. And I think when I led it for so long and I almost got there, I think that really gives you that belief that, you belong there.
Right.
And all that, all those years that you've slogged away and worked towards it, you realise you do have the potential to win it. So I think that's something that I've got to keep coming back here each year. I don't regard myself as the most talented man in the field. I think I'm a bit more of an opportunist in this race, and I think that that sort of makes me, and there's other guys in the field that are like me, a dangerous man. They don't never really know what they're going to get with me.
Unpredictable.
And I think that,
Little Jens Voigt, huh?
Exactly.
They don't know when you're going to go.
I'm not the guy that's going to come here and win every year.
Right.
I'm not the Crowie. I'm not the Macca, obviously in going back to the Mark and Dave
Sure.
guys. I'm the guy that, the Faris Al Sultan, that, he won in 2005, very opportunistic, went for it. And, Chris Lieto, Marino Vandenacker, they're guys that come to mind that I think, they've always been an aggressor at this race. They mix it up.
Yes.
And I think, on any of those guys' day, they probably could have won this race.
Yes.
It's just a matter of the right
day.
There was this one guy that was, one better than them.
So for people, a lot of people don't realize that they see you now and they see all the sponsors and the rest of it. They don't see you and Craig Alexander in a little apartment in Encinitas, sleeping on air mattresses next to the train tracks, trying to figure out, am I going to be able to make a living doing this sport?
Yeah.
We left, it was when you leave from Australia to come to the States, it's not like, I'll try this for the weekend and come back. It's basically, I'm leaving my friends, my family, everything I know to hopefully make it in this weird sport in a strange country.
Yeah. No, I was 19 years old when I first moved to America, and I moved in with Crowie into an empty apartment. We bought our blow-up mattresses from Walmart, and we shopped at the 99-cent store. And this is Craig Alexander I'm talking about.
Right.
The 3-time world champion, and
he wasn't that back then.
Champion. Yeah, and it just goes to show that it's the perseverance you've got to have to endure those tough initial years. It will come if you persist.
And the other side of that is you're training with a guy who goes on and wins this thing 3 times. And I'm sure there were training sessions where you had him on the ropes, where you were working him, and you're going, wait a second, he just won the most important event in the sport. And before that, he won the Lifetime race. And I'm hurting him on a daily basis. When's my turn?
Yeah, I mean, it's a funny relationship. Obviously I trained with Crowie since a very young age, and we've been really great mates. And when I came over to the States in those initial years, I was mixing it up with Crowie, and obviously he'd always been the better runner, but I'd always give him a good run in the swim and the bike. And I was actually doing the Ironman racing before Crowie. I moved up to the distances a couple of years earlier, and all of a sudden Crowie comes along and he's winning these races, and I'm like, hold on, mate,
What's
do
going
your time
on?
here. And but at the same time, I knew that I was competitive with Crowie, so it sort of it resonated with me that, well, if he can do well at it, I feel like, I've got the potential to do well as well. So I think that's where it progressed for me.
So Beth, you were there in 13 when he took 2nd. What was the feeling like at that time? Just, being on the sideline, watching someone you care about having the greatest day of their life at that point.
Yeah, that entire week was completely surreal because we got here to Hawaii, and I had just finished Ironman Wisconsin, and I was having all this trouble getting back into training. I was feeling super tired and I didn't know what was going on. And then 3 days before the race, we realized that I was pregnant. So I said, if I was pregnant, would you want to know before the race or after the race?
You asked that question.
You're pretty much, he knows now. Yeah.
Right. So I told him before the race, and I think it was a really good sort of incentive to race for something bigger.
Exactly.
But for me, I mean, it was incredible. I was following along the run, sort of leapfrogging on the bike, just saying, run comfortably. I knew leading up, because I'd been training with Luke all summer, and we'd been doing this running. And I knew that from the running I'd been doing, I could run around a 3-hour marathon. And I knew that he was way faster than me. You know, every run session we did, we'd go to the track and he'd be finishing his repeats 10, 15 seconds, 20 ahead of me. And I'd think, well, there's no reason he can't run low 250s. Like,
exactly.
I didn't really get it. So he got off the bike and I said, just run the way that you run. Like, do what you can do. And he had his best run ever here in Hawaii because he just ran the way that we had been running. So it's been really great to see his progression. And that was, you know, one of the best days of both of our lives. So
What's he going to do on Saturday?
His running's right back up there, and now that his swim is back, and obviously his cycling is always a threat. We were talking about it this morning about, you know, that I said, oh yeah, you'll go out, you'll run low 250s. I said, save the 245 for next year. You need to, you know, after
When he's defending champion?
Yeah, I said after you win one, you have to have a new ace in your back pocket.
I love that. How about a round of applause for Beth Gerdes and Mr. Luke McKenzie? Poncho Man, come on back. We're presented by EA Sports Nutrition, Cliff Bar, Timex Roca, Tanya Puerto Resort, Rudy Project, and Slow Twitch, and of course, our main man, Poncho Man.
Come with me, my love, to the sea of love. 'Cause I want to tell you how much I love breakfast with Bob.
Yeah! Thank you, Poncho Man.